pauses for dramatic effect. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Lift of Leadership podcast. And this evening, ladies and gentlemen, it's my time to listen. I'm very happy to say that we're giving you a dual dose tonight, 2 laws in one, because we're going to reflect and check up on our consistency. But without further ado, I tried not to pick up the man, but then he replied with this word: "Ek is bereid."
I am bereid.
Good evening, sir. Mr. Daniel Nevenhuizen, the guest, resident guest back in the house. You alright, brother?
Resident guest, not resident evil. Yo, it feels good to be here this evening. I'm excited. More so because of our guest that we have here this evening.
Yeah, we were saying in the before we started. So our guest this evening, ladies and gentlemen, as I told the kids yesterday, popped around at the school. I said, that's my mindset, coach. And then I also always introduced my brother and partner as the bee in Blask. So the business part. Mr. Chad Leonard, sir, how are you, brother? Welcome back to the land of the living.
Thank you for the welcome. Good to meet you and good to be here. Let's get into it.
So I told Chad, look, tonight we're going to get into it. I don't have him long here. You know the man, hard at work, whatever he needs to do. But I'm going to reflect. And that is the potent thing, because when we started at the start, I was saying how fitting is it for the law of reflection, because we're going to reflect back to where this even started. Like this podcast was even birthed out of COVID. A lot of things was birthed out of COVID. And we're going to give you all a chance to reflect about all the things you thought about when the world was ending. This one, man, wrote the world was ending?
The world was ending in 2012 already.
Didn't? Were you bang for 2012 the movie?
Nooit. It wasn't even, I don't think it was realistic enough for me. I was like, what? 9 years old when that movie came out. It came out 2010.
Didn't wasn't bang? And you? Are you bang for my Armageddon spec?
Nah. I was more excited.
You?
COVID was one big pause and reflection period, so that's a nice example.
Yeah, so then that's where we're going to start, because we're going to give you all a chance to reflect on that. Because, ladies and gentlemen, episode 7, my brother, of the Lift of Leadership podcast. Please follow us on all the socials. You saw this evening, we sent you out the link early. We had our brother, shout out to Mr. Joshua Collins. He was waiting 119 minutes ago. That's not how it works, but okay, I need to say this, please like and subscribe and follow the Raw Louder Network. And we'll touch on that also while we're busy through the podcast, what the network is about. But very important, like I say, it's definitely a chance to reflect. Let's not go past episode 7 without reflecting where everything started. And I think definitely a lot of things was birthed around COVID, and also you standing around the fire, still waiting to give someone your CV. So, law of reflection, ladies and gentlemen, it says, let me just scroll to it, explains that learning how to pause effectively allows you to grow and to catch up with you. So we are able to grow in many different ways, but there's infinite lessons that are learned. But only experts, listen to this one, this is the potent one for me, only experts pause to allow wins and losses to refine the narrow future strategies. So COVID, manifesting there. So COVID, first reflection in COVID, I think my brother, can I just give a background? I was saying before the podcast started, so Chad's background is in watches. Well, he's going to give everything further, but this is the background of watches. If you remember the show, Heroes. Then was that Silas. But Silas turned good afterwards.
Yeah, I did eventually. If you watched it long enough.
But I didn't watch it long enough for that. But that first season was echt.
Yeah, it was a secret.
But it's echt. Because Silas could take your powers.
But you must eat your brain.
You must eat your brain?
Yeah, you eat that. That's why I saw the...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I thought it was just for the... Yeah, but that's echt. But he was the watchmaker spec. And that's your background, my brother. The background, deciphering the news.
Yeah,
so I went through a big personal development phase. Boom. Shout out to Brian King for always introducing me to John C. Maxwell. Gave me access to the portal. Probably John, you would love me to say that. And I ate the stuff up. And then I met a brother. The trading thing was potent actually.
Yeah.
On that call. I was on that call. Let's reflect back to me. You sitting on that call, you could demand.
No, it was definitely impressive, and that's what made me reach out in the first place, because we or myself, I got introduced to you as the teacher.
Oh yes, yes, oh yes, yes, yes.
No
yes.
other context, just the teacher, and all it was trading, and the way you presented, the energy that you brought to the lesson, and we are new, brand new to trading, don't know what's going on, don't speak the language, but your energy made it already for us that, okay, I'm in there, I'm convinced, I'm sold, boom, I'm in. And then just 1 month later, we met and spoke, and then from there, as they say, the rest is history.
Because when we met, I thought, obviously I met you with a group of guys, they just finished school a couple of years earlier, so I was like, okay, this man is also probably just also finished school, but then I could meet, this man has traveled the world. And you've traveled how many countries, sir?
That would be 5.
5 countries?
5.
On the ship? What cruise ship is this, sir? Some background for the people, what you were doing before the COVID hit?
It was first Carnival Ecstasy, then Carnival Splendor. So Ecstasy was in the Bahamas. So all of those, St. Thomas, St. Martin, Bahamas, Nassau, all of those exotic places. And then Splendor was Mexico, California. And then Carnival Ecstasy, Carnival Splendor, Carnival Vista, the big boy, was on like the New York, Miami, Texas, Cozumel, Mexico side.
And you started as just selling watches.
Just selling watches.
But the background to getting there, because I was telling him and everybody, Chad ate up all this bloody personal development stuff. I have never ever met someone that is so articulate with just personal development and definitely reading, like in context of everybody. And that's why when I knew about John C. Maxwell and then I met someone who I can speak to, because I could talk to nobody. I lost a lot of friends in COVID. Like I was very irritating. Like it was like I just wanted to be in this
develop personal
like
development.
in this growth buzz.
Let's do something bigger.
And you, when we were reading that book last week, then you still said, how's the law of the mirror? Personal development. How's this personal development is a belief.
Yeah, I wrote that down. It's crazy. It's a belief. It's literally a belief. And I think I'm listening to you and it's like the belief is actually contagious.
Yeah.
If the person is receptive, then the belief of personal development, it becomes contagious. People can buy into it. Because I think that's definitely what happened to you and to me through that chain.
Yeah.
We're not going to sell packets. Now using them as a scrolls and a camera at the bottom. $4.99 for a personal development packet.
Is that the funnel? Keyword, yet.
No, ladies and gentlemen, not yet. It's not yet there. We're going to keep it episode 100. We'll break out the pack for you. Only on 7, right?
7 number of perfection, no?
7 out of 1,000, I said. And then we'll move to our own channel. For now, there's no scroll at the bottom. But again, on the reflection, because your journey, you decided, right, let me eat up the stuff. First book that sparked your growth, that you would say you must attribute that. Because you know what, one of the ladies after the second episode, reached out to me and said, one of the centre backs stole from, when I was the GM there at Clearwood, he still messaged me, he said, I'm going to buy me a book, what book must I buy? And then I haven't read this 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Stephen Covey.
But I obviously went through a lot of it, but I hasn't got the essence of reading it fully. But I recommended that book to him still. And obviously he always messages me that he's watching the podcast, so obviously something's contagious.
Something's contagious.
Yeah.
That was the first book for me, 7 Habits. I remember my dad there was a 7 Habits for Highly Effective Teens. So he especially got that book for me and my brother. And when I was a teen, I didn't want to read the book. Like I just wasn't interested. I don't say I didn't want to read it.
There wasn't a belief in it.
But when I started reading it, like early 20s, it was transformative. It is transformative because it's always relevant. That's the thing about it.
Yeah.
Principles are timeless.
That's quality books will do that.
So what was your book?
For me, coming from business and sales and leadership, my first good read was To Sell is Human by Daniel H. Pink.
Write that down. And that is context, a little bit of context.
a little bit of context. He said that every single interaction is an influence interaction.
True.
And then, like you, just to touch on our theme of belief, if you can, like you were saying earlier, the articulation, if you can articulate a belief convincingly, then every single time you interact with someone, it's you are selling. And then Grant Cardone has his book titled To Sell or Be Sold. But so Daniel explains that your life can be much more effective if you master this articulation process, where you accept every single interaction you are selling or you are being sold to. And then he explains, okay, the old ABCs was always be closing, but he says then your new ABCs are attunement, buoyancy, and clarity.
This one, my back is a bit so, but this one make my, it's like it's 2021, yeah.
Yeah.
Atonement.
Attunement.
So not to go off here, but attunement, attunement, hyphen, explanation.
So attunement is all about, let's say, energy. What energy is present here? So there's a different energy when we speak one-on-one to when I'm speaking to an audience, that type of thing. So an audience, you go top down.
Why?
And with one-on-one, you go bottom up. So with one-on-one, you start sincere. You start more serious tones. And you gradually build the energy up until both of you are somewhere.
Yeah, not, yeah.
Right? So with an audience, you start high and you bring them down. You bring them lower to pause for dramatic effect and then drive your point home.
Yeah.
So attunement.
I know where it stems from.
Attunement.
So that's just the energy, and then you have to read.
Tune it in.
You have to tune it in. So you have to read, like, is this person sad? Do I need, what tone do I need to start with? Because where are they and where do I need them to be?
Giving away my young secrets here with the children. I'm now on the bus here, I'm smakrapping you out here, you don't know what's going on, then I just go boom. Pauses for dramatic effect. Throw everything off.
Yeah.
So again, speakers, very important to study where to speak and how to speak when in certain situations with people. Next up, buoyancy, hyphen, small definition.
Buoyancy we know as just being able to float. So when you have like a ball or something that can float, no matter how much you press on it, it's going to pop back up. And what we understand about this popping up is that the same way a boat lists from side to side when it's buoyant, anything that's buoyant, it will go down and pop up before it levels out. And when you have an interaction, you need to do the same thing. So you need to, like, for example, Jesus, when he spoke, he would say, I tell you the truth. Then you start speaking. Or you would say something like, the kingdom of heaven is like, or you would just say, I am. And then you go off. So it first let him know, this is the tone. And then it explained the parable, and then he drive it home for them. So you need to, and then he follows with an instruction. So you need to. Or when the woman was there at the well, he was asking her questions. He wanted to find out first.
Where are you?
Yeah. Do you know who I am? I know of you. You are all of your husbands and things. He let her know first, like, look, all of that it's okay. He let her bring her walls down. So the buoyancy is about if they start to get sad, how do I get them happy? If they're too happy, how do I get them where they're just optimistic? Not where they're too happy. Because when you're too happy, you overpromise. You say things that you don't mean. And you also, when you disagree with something, if you're too happy, you tend to just go with it because you don't want to disappoint this person. So buoyancy is also checking in. Where are we? And then if they're too high, bring them down. If they're too low, bring them to the middle.
So there's an optimal temperature there.
The optimal temperature. What is the optimal temperature here? So that communication can take place. And that's what it is. And also choosing your moment. So if this is the wrong moment, then you don't sell in this moment. You just make them feel good.
Oh, and it's also who you're selling
Who
what
you're
to. Like
selling to.
I was on the law of diffusion of innovation in a week, and I was like, yo, this is crazy. Like, it's next level. Because here they're talking about when in the starting of an idea or a belief, like we're talking about the belief now, like it's the innovators who you actually need to try to influence. Because they talk about the different levels. You get the innovators, and you get the early adopters, and you get the early majority, and then you get the late majority. So the innovators are usually the open-minded people who are open to new ideas. And then the early adopters are those who are open-minded, but they also apply some risk management, so they're not as reckless, maybe, put it like that. And the early adopters or the early majority, those are the people who will start to buy into an idea if there are people who are already buying into the idea. But there must be people to buy into the idea.
A proof of concept.
Proof of concept. And then the late majority is obviously the people who wait for everyone else to first buy into this belief before they buy into it. And I'm listening, and it's like, you need to also know who it is that you're talking with. Like, is this an innovator in the context of...
And with your example, so they usually put that on a curve, right?
Yes.
So you have the small, like, let's say 5%, 10%, 25%, 25.
Yo, I see this on my board
right?
in now.
So you have that curve. So with your attunement and your buoyancy, you need to know where is this person? Whatever the message is, where is this person on the curve? Because that will, like they were saying there, refine and narrow down what you can need to communicate.
Young classroom example there for me, man. I don't want to say it.
So a young classroom example.
You're an educator. If you got to feel out the buoyancy.
Yes, you have to feel. So when you introduce a subject, as an educator, you can see everybody's eyeballs. So you need to quickly read the room. And are those stairs blank? Do I have half of the class that's with me? Do I have half of them that really don't know what's going on? What do I feel? And then you work from there. Then you know what space, what speed, what pace you need to work at. Because if you need to start from scratch, you need to let them know, okay, I'm going to break it down real quick, boom, 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 boom. Or you're going to tell them, look, do we understand this? You check with them, do we understand this? Do we understand? Okay. I see a lot of blank stares. Let's start there. And clarify.
And number 3?
Clarity has to do with checking back.
Wasn't clarity your word for 2020? No?
Yes.
Accuracy.
I don't know. Accuracy was the second year. 2021 was clarity. 2021 is clarity. Clarity has to do with either an instruction, like a call to action, as they say. Like in subscribe is a call to action.
Don't forget to do that.
It's a clear instruction.
It's clear. We must now clear.
And your favorite words, point of departure. So clarity is, let's say I'm buying your house. And the sale, we negotiate, and then we have an agreement. The clarity says, do you agree with these terms? Are you happy with it? Do you understand them? And then, can we go ahead? And then you're going to give me some energy, and I'm going to either say, right, let's do it, or I'm going to say, okay, how can we make it happen for you?
We're on the same page.
There we go. And then what's going to happen next? And you either give instructions or you ask questions depending on who you're speaking to, right? But that moment needs to happen. You can't say, okay, yeah, good, and then you leave. So clarity is about where are they? What do they understand? What are we agreeing to next? What is our very next action?
Quality of your life is determined by the quality of the questions you ask.
100%.
Don't leave before you ask the questions.
That's why I love questions.
And ask questions.
Ask it. No matter how done. And again, with this law, it says the power of the pauses include reflection and help. Reflection helps turn pause into insight. Because hit me with her, you must decide what you want to operate on. Insight or instinct. Because you must know, instinct is the idea. The insight is the action. And that's again with that innovators buzz. Like the idea is potent. The idea of, we've got an extra plug this evening, an early adopter, BLASK, education there. BLASC. So again, operating first on instinct, you got to go on instinct, ladies and gentlemen, first. And then
I know there's something here.
That's that feeling, and he was talking about that feeling, you know. And that man was pumping it. And again, he spoke for those who could hear him, because he came out of the block somewhere like immediately, like, look, if you don't know the jargon, you have to go into the jargon. I don't care if you're 60. I'm like, oh, okay, here you go. But at the end of the day, you know, I went for Vusi. And that's what he gave us, bro. Instinct versus insight, very important to decide where you are, and then giving a whole scale of things that you have to have in your business. The beautiful thing is that we could see on reflection, because that was a Vusi reflection moment for us. Sorry for my French. Like, this brat telling us, and he didn't touch on the education industry. And that would have been my question, like, you never touch on the education, does he even touch on the education industry? But I think it's not tangible enough, I would say.
I think it's in transition. It's in transition.
Then you get Catherine Dugan who come up and she give you the whole demographics of Africa, and that man is also taking pictures.
Exactly.
Because the age groups now of Africa look like, yeah, I also need to get involved with this. Jordan Peterson just launched his university. And that Jordan Peterson University is only 20 people, you know, obviously top dollar, but the experts that's going to be teaching you the classes live, it's obviously like the yellow copper, of personal development that's involved in this university, and it's a personal development university.
Yeah,
Gee,
that's crazy.
gee.
So that's education again, because we're all realizing that, bruh, I got all this, ladies and gentlemen, this is free 99. All the stuff is there, and you don't even need to get it from Chad. I'm going to send you this. This is ours. This is before there was ChatGPT, there was Chad GPT. There we go. Because this is all these notes he put together from all these laws. Then I go on and watch the little notes, and I'm like, yo, look at this is going to sound. And this is what happened to me in 2020. I'm coming to everybody. I'm just like, nah, this is the time to reflect. This is the time to reflect, because when this thing is over, and then we make the school the best thing on earth. Because now we must know what's going to work and what's not going to work. If everybody else is just running dormant, and the next year we pop up, die gatos.
Yeah, we already
You
have.
already know what we want to do. In the meantime, the means like, nah, Armageddon. I don't want to close my eyes. I'm thinking, nah.
Sleeping,
All it means
thinking.
is going out the stats. Like, I'm Mr. You know me. I'm that.
It was a funny thing. And that,
I'm a Novak Djokovic, man.
and that's again that thing we were talking about, the trend, showing the trend
Trend is your friend.
against showing raw stats. Because in those reports where they would give you the statistics of the amount of deaths, what they didn't do is compare it on how many people died that time of the year anyway, every year. They just gave you this how much people died.
Oh, you were saying
this year.
the bar graph versus the.
They gave you a bar
chart.
graph. They don't give you the trend. They don't give you the line
Yeah.
graph. They're just showing you this is what's
This
there's
is
nothing to
nah.
compare to. So it's like it's half information.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just on the reflection, I don't want you to go that deep into reflection. I just want you to reflect on the good things that you wanted to do. Like when you're standing around the fire. Let's not go down that rabbit hole.
Shit.
Yes, brother. And yes, people, come out of there. Everyone needs a specific time and a place to pause. And I think that was a good time. But it happens all the time. The time to pause. I still play football, so just pausing on a bit of a, would I smart the coach soon? I was like, no, shake that dream off. I got to figure something else to follow. Different things, you know. I still do the mentorship, which I love, but you have to reflect on so many things that you want to do and can't do. I think myself and Chad's gone through many rigmaroles of being pulled to the wayside, which is also a time of reflection. So if you're going down the wrong road, it doesn't motivation. You don't need motivation to speed you up. You actually need to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a hard one.
Yeah. If you're going down the wrong road, you don't need motivation, because then, like Jim Rohn said, you'll just if you have an idiot and you motivate him, you'll just be a motivated idiot.
Yeah.
So when you're on the wrong tracks, or the wrong way, the wrong direction, it depends on how wrong you are. Maybe you need 180, or maybe you just need to turn 30 degrees. And sometimes that 30 degrees is enough to set you right there.
I think that might be where a lot of people get stuck, because obviously the only time that you can't reflect if you don't stop first to see how far you've come.
Pause.
And I think what is scary is when you look back and you see how far down the rabbit hole you are, for lack of a better word. Like for me, the question is like, how do you make that turn around?
Hey, don't. You're asking Chad to give advice here.
No. Like, we don't do advice. There's a difference between advice and
So-
experience.
So
Information.
with the first point, reflection helps turn pause into insight. So there's a business saying that so many personal developments like to use, what gets measured or what gets monitored gets improved. Usually,
What's get recorded gets rewarded.
usually when we start monitoring, we don't like what we see. Usually when people start reflecting, they don't like what they see. They don't like the truth. I said I'm going to do this and this many times a week, this many times a month, but once I start checking off, I see that when I wanted to do it 15 times, actually I did it twice. They don't like to see that,
Oh,
and so they stop.
I thought the gym make money.
Instead of going from 2 to 3, from 3 to 4, they see two this month, 2 next month, 1 in the 3rd month, and then they stop because they don't like what they see. So they don't like what the reflection, what the insight brings. So reflection helps turn pause into insight. So the quality of your life will be determined by the quality of the questions you ask. So how can I do this? How can I make this a part of my life? How do I do this so that all of my goals get achieved anyway? How do I go to the gym, if we're going to use that example, in a way that makes me a better father, that makes me a better husband, that makes me a better boyfriend? Instead of how do I go to the gym and how do I be a better husband, it's 2 different questions, treated as the same thing. So you ask a better question, you reflect in a better way. Like these numbers, I don't like what I see, but maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. There's the law of the rubber band. So the tension needs to be there. That you not liking what you see, that needs to be there.
There
That's
must
what
be
you've been
tension.
missing because you were complacent. And then that comes to our second law, which is law of consistency. If you can do 2 all the time and you go to 3, can you keep that up now? Go to 4, can you keep that up? Because that's more important than doing absolutely 0 or doing 10 all at once. See? Yeah. So law of reflection gives you the information. It's just information. It's just stats, and then you decide: where do I want to be? Where do I want to be?
Because now that's why we're doing 2 laws tonight. Because now you reflected. You took your personal klapper van ver gelegen. So you were right now. You looked in the mirror. You did your klapper van ver gelegen. Because it says almost every single person that had a huge impact on the world spend some time alone thinking. So go reflect, my people. And then it comes to where you are now. You got all the information because you reflected, as Chad said. Now, the law of consistency. Motivation keeps you.
Get you started. Motivation gets you started.
I was going for motivation keeps you glowing. But discipline keeps you growing.
That's the one.
And that's most the pain of regret or the pain of
Discipline.
discipline.
Yeah.
So the motivation is just gonna keep you smiling. You know, keep you glowing. There's Eric Thomas. Say Eric Thomas heel dag. Peace mode, but no discipline. And it's tough. We know the discipline is tough. It's not discipline. Going back, the word stems from the word disciple. This is also a Brother Miles. Brother Miles always hit you with the etymology of the words. Comes from the word disciple, and disciple comes from the word follower. So that also means, can you follow an instruction? And this is one thing I always teach, right? Like I'm always about the coachable. Are you coachable? Can you follow an instruction? And it's tough to see when somebody has talent and maybe can't do like a drill, man. Because a drill is tough. Like a drill, if you have to watch it. Okay, 1, 2. Okay, the ball must go boom, 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 boom. So if you don't have that, okay, let me. Some will take longer to get it, but some don't get it.
Yeah. It depends on where they are.
They don't get it. You can motivate them how much. They don't have the discipline to get it. So no matter how talented no matter how many available opportunities, consistency is vital for growth. I've been
100%.
telling people I don't want to use the word consistency, I will use the word maintenance, or like maintain. Because I was thinking of the three
Levels of momentum.
three levels of momentum. That's what I've been speaking a lot to about people. So again, with the following questions will aid you in measuring where your discipline is. Because that's I don't even want to add advice to you, but that's what you can do for the law of consistency.
The
Is
guidelines.
the guidelines, yeah. Like there's no right or wrong. I keep on saying it. Whether we're right or wrong here, as long as we're growing.
It's more like volume.
Mm.
What volume am I at? What volume do I want to be at? How do I get there? But yeah, first question.
First question: do you know what you need to improve?
And that's again, that ties in so well with the law of
'Cause that's-
reflection.
That's a tough thing. That is like, I'm thinking about periods in my life where I needed to make a change. Having to admit to yourself that you need to make a change
Yeah.
is tough. But once you're there, I think you well on your way. Once you can admit to yourself, not to anyone else, but once you can admit to yourself, look here, I need to change. Because the truth is, a lot of the times we do have an innate compass that tells us, okay, this is what you need to change, or this is what's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we have that internal compass there, but when that compass is telling you, look here, this is the thing, and you have a soul tie with you, bonded to this thing. It's sometimes you don't want to face that.
Keeps
Yeah, but
bugging you, keeps
Say they have an
bugging you.
ugly one here. In order to embody this, listen to this.
Sick of-
This line is getting up with determination and going to bed with satisfaction. That is, are you taking care of the in between? That's why I never used to like reading that line. I was like, yo, because like Kim knows, my wife knows, I don't ever heard it in a movie, like don't go to bed angry. I adopted that. We are lama ulta and I sort it out now. I'm that man, I don't get I sort it out now. I'm not going nowhere. You give me a tip now, dacht I. Yeah, sort it out. Nah. So I don't know what myth is that. Please, ladies and gentlemen, maybe throw it out there in the comments, as they say. Let us know.
If tomorrow never comes,
Let us know, please. Is it a myth? Should you go to bed with the argument or not? Nobody knows. Ooh, yes, man. They gave us the scripture from
Straight from the word.
straight
From
from
the word.
the word. Who just gave the word. Right? Unlike Kim. Win. Getting up with determination and going to bed with satisfaction. Are you taking care of what's in between? One of my favorite ones that Chad shared with me was burn the ships.
burn the boats. I wrote that down literally in my notes earlier.
Yeah.
Literally burn the boats.
Is it where's that from?
Mr. Napoleon.
Yes.
Is that Napoleon?
Yeah.
So you have no choice but to.
Mm.
Because I was listening to this series by Cindy Trim, Power of Intention. So the episode I was listening to was intentionality as a twin called consistency. Like I watched it a long time ago and today I just dived into
Thought
it.
about it.
And then the other episode was burning the boats.
Mm.
There's no ways that you can go back and that's relevant for me where I'm at in my life because like you know I moved out to my parents' place like just over a month ago. But it was different, man. The way
Yeah.
I moved out, it was
Yeah.
different. There was an understanding between everyone, between me, my parents, my siblings, the person that I was moving in with. There was an understanding of okay, this is where we're at.
Mm.
So for me, it was that moment of burning the boats because there's no way that I'm going back to live with my parents.
Sink or swim.
Not that there's anything bad, like
Ah.
I'm good with my parents, I'm good with my family. But for me, even my mom told me, you don't come back here
Make it work.
until you made it work, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, it's a powerful moment, burning the boat.
Did you go with a
yes, yeah.
stockie with a thing on?
Yes, you know. Christopher Robbins.
Full of Christopher Rose. Hakate!
That's the one.
And that's the burn the ships was eer for me and it was no and it come with the story. So you must be wondering, what praat hulle van burn the boats? What the boat? And this is the beautiful thing, ladies and gentlemen. My anger is I was teaching at the time. So I get all this knowledge and I'm just spitting it to the lighties. The kids are loving it, they're eating up all the stuff. They're like, oh my word. And I've got kids that my last class I taught was 49 children and they were all repeating grade 11.
That was at high school.
Pauses for dramatic effect. I shit you not. That is the level that I can teach at. Pass rate 98 bro. 48. Here we go. Matric 2. No, I lie. 46 of them. Yeah. Couple didn't stay for the extra. But survival, man. You know? And just eating up all the stuff, feeding it back to them. The laws of, oh. And I just was like, what is this? So yeah, this is new. This is the new English. We're not going to do other work. We're going to do this work now. And then obviously running into educators, they also like, what? We relax here. We reflect now. And because again, what law did I break through? The law of the lid.
Yeah.
I was lidding it out, bro. Exchange as a lid. I want to love your lid, and that was the problem.
Yeah.
I wanted to. Sorry. I was wanting to lift your lid. And it was a big, like, that's one thing you got rid of. Like, the chair took a long time to get rid of it. I think people still trying to get rid of it. And it's tough. Like, you want to lift someone else's lid.
Yeah. But that burning sensation is what made me become a coach.
Mm-hmm.
So I did business at the university level with the intention of being in marketing, being a part of a team, la la la. But the coaching was a personal decision. When I set goals for myself, and then I shared the goals. I was at work one day, and I shared those goals. And then when I looked at the people, I saw that they did not believe that where they are could get better. That was the moment I decided to become a coach. Because there was no way this is as good as your life is going to get.
That's crazy.
So that lid, I can see the lid, so I need to raise it. And then I hyper-focused on sales and communication. Because the better I can get the message across, the more I can raise your belief, the more you're going to do. That's what I did.
That's crazy.
Ik lid jou, in a sec.
For me, like, I know we moved on from the law of reflection, but I have to reflect a bit more.
Yep.
So the reason that I'm very passionate about having counsel, like having people who have more experience, more insight, more foresight, and learning from them, listening to them, is because when I was young, I used to waste a lot of opportunities.
Yeah.
When I was listening to what you were talking about, it reminded me of something that, so I used to do, talking about COVID, right, 2021. That's the first time actually that I moved out to my parents' house. I moved to Strammington and I was living here in this complex next to the library.
Ow!
And at this time I'm doing Herbalife, and my upline is like one of the very top people in Herbalife. His name is Daniel Nakamaias. I'm like millionaire guy. But he's passionate about Herbalife and he's passionate about helping people. So we used to have this mastermind classes in the morning.
Yeah, that's the one, yeah.
Every morning. But it's like live with this guy.
Yeah.
And I used to have one-on-ones with him as well, but I didn't appreciate or I didn't understand the access, man, at the time. But anyway, so he taught us this in one of the masterminds. He said that there's 3 dimensions to learning. So the first dimension of learning is where you're learning to understand.
Yeah.
And then the second dimension is where you're learning to teach someone else to understand. And then he says the pinnacle is the third dimension, is where you're learning to teach someone else to understand. Like that's that pinnacle. Like I think that's where what you were hitting at there.
Yeah, no, you will do. But again, like for me, you see the lid, man, and then it's like it irks you. It's not like you see the potential. You
Come
see
on,
like
man, we can do more.
Yeah, man, like more, and then it was still like 10x, and then you were still in a trading vibe. Now the thinking was on the other level, and then like everybody must do this.
Just struggling all the time.
I was part of it.
You know what I mean?
I put a paar robots. I'm not gonna lie.
Pots in the pocket. So, but this is what the reflection does, and how you get to that consistency, and that's where that consistency took place. You know, just sticking into this personal development, even with the trading, being involved. But then, a lot of other things also come to the fore that you want to bring into that consistency level.
Yeah.
And in the consistency, do you know how you're supposed to improve? With that comes, does your motivation match your personality?
This is like the finicky things. This is for me when I was reading this, I was like, this is crazy because
Yeah, you have to look at it, bro.
I've never thought about it before. It never even crossed my mind.
I didn't do
Like,
this. Sorry to break you, but I scroll, then I don't know, then I go, no, okay, Then I watch maybe a Jim Rowanski, then I change again, then I watch again a John. Then I say, I don't know who, then I come on YouTube, like a candy, but it's like, I'm trying to find this voice.
A specific.
This frequency.
This frequency, and I just, like I'm always doing it, and okay, now maybe on the scroll spec, on the death scroll spec, maybe, a 30-minute death scrolling, and now, like the one of Miles now popped up, and again, I think I can go into there, is the one of Miles popped, because that is now the use of the phone now also, man. There's abuse, phone abuse, and abuse obviously comes from the word abnormal use, and they must took away. So there is normal use for it, and I think that's where, using different things, finding all this knowledge, like, okay, now I know what I like to watch now. It used to be documentaries of knowing more things. Then I want to teach the lighties more things. Now it was, if I know more, and I can get them also to know more about themselves, and then I still tag you in that other thing of Dick Gregory, but he's speaking about, once you take off that glasses, ladies and gentlemen, once you put on
the magic glasses.
You put on the magic glasses, and you see, like what you saw, like people don't understand the potential of what they can do with the situation they're in.
It's crazy.
I was the general manager of a soccer club, of a second division football team.
Yeah, you made it happen.
We made it happen, bro. Cook. Like, yeah, me, bro. I'm gonna bring it bloody contract with my signature on. I was the witness, but again, that was the capacity, and for what we saw, obviously different things didn't align, but just on the level of matching the motivation to the personality.
Yeah, and you proved that you were the person. You did it, so you proved that you were the person.
We put it together.
Yeah.
And it's still going.
And it's still going. And we showed them what was possible, because they, as much as they went on to go do bigger things, we let them know that bigger things are possible. So while you were there, you did make an impact.
Salty. Love it. Start with the simple stuff.
Start with simple stuff.
And that's all we did. We started with the simple stuff. You must have a training kit. Shout out. Because some people didn't understand you need a training kit. You must have a training kit. You must have a cloakroom. This is the ABC League. Now there's still people in the PSL that struggle with this. And the NFD. I only like to play by club if there's a home shower. That's why I can't play in just playing. Shout out. Like I have to. I'm Captain Tigerberg for the home shower, strictly. I have to. It's like a luxury. And unfortunately, once you feel the luxury, you like a home shower.
But yeah, starting with the simple stuff, what is the first thing I can do right now? What is accessible to me to do?
It's in front of me.
Yeah, because if I can't pay for the gym each week,
Sure.
can I jog? If I can't jog, can I do push-ups?
Moses, what do you have in your hand, Moses?
What do you have in your hand?
Someone asked me for money the other day. And I was like, bruh, come here and then you do something and then you survive. Like that. Like we were also speaking about that. Like you always have something again. There's something again and something again and something again. That's it. What's in your hand? What's in your hand? What can you do within your hand?
Yeah.
And then you look further than what's in your hand. Now it goes to use patience strategically.
Yeah. What does that mean to you?
Use patience strategically.
Remember, the question is, do you know how you're supposed to improve? So we had match your motivation to your personality. Where the thing you're trying to achieve, does it suit you?
Yeah.
And then how compatible are they? And then start with simple stuff. And now it's use patience strategically. So what does that mean to you?
I think knowing when to wait and when to go. Knowing when to be in a, we're talking about magnetism, when to be in a minus and when to be in a plus, when to
Attack,
pull and when to push.
repel.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting from it.
But also maybe a God's time,
Ecclesiastes.
like not on your time.
God's time is twofold, eh? Because Jesus said, look, if you can do something today, do it today.
Okay. Do not
And then also when Paul said, "There's a thorn here in my side, can you do it?" He said, "My grace is sufficient for you." And that, what you said yesterday, is exactly that. You were saying the Japanese practice of fixing broken things with
Kintsugi.
gold.
Mm.
That's why God told him, "My grace is sufficient for you." He said, "The thorn in my side." He said, "Don't worry about the thorn. My grace is sufficient for you." He didn't know what it means, but where you are going, I will be with you. You will get there. My grace is sufficient for you. Like we were talking about, if you get exactly, imagine you get exactly what you deserve every time you do something.
3 levels of deserve.
You'll be in trouble.
Being negative.
What if you steal?
Yeah.
What do you deserve in that moment? You see. So he said, "My grace is sufficient for you. Don't complain about this thing.
And that's that.
When I fix you, you'll be whole." That type of thing. So that lets you know, look, wherever you are, let it happen. If this thing needs to take 3 months, try and do it in 2, but understand that if it doesn't happen in 2, try and do it in 3. Let it happen, let it take its time. And then again, couple that with the first thing. If you can do something today, find yourself doing it today. So here, use patience strategically, know how long it's going to take,
Mm.
but also know that if you miss days, law of consistency, if you miss days, it's going to take even longer. What took 3 months can take 3 years. So you use patience strategically. You know it's going to take 3 months. If I'm there every day, if I don't see a result today, I'm not supposed to see a result today.
Mm.
But I need to do this thing. And tomorrow I need to be back.
Yeah.
I need to go at it again.
It's the only way it happens. And with the kintsugi, did I tell you what's a kintsugi? So the kintsugi, there's again a Catherine Dugan, she also gave that one, is the Japanese art of, they take the vase, they throw it broken, and then they put it together with gold. So it's the belief that everybody was broken, but again, putting it together with gold.
Yeah.
So I was telling the kids, like, we're all broken. Like, it's important to hear them understand stuff. When I say something, there's on the debit side, on the credit side, and also on the right side, and they know it's lekker. Because these were almost broken before. And these are the types of analogies you must tell the kids, man. And show them some of on the TV, if you have one there. Say, "Pa, this is what kintsugi is."
Introduce them earlier.
Show ya. Like, "What is this?" I say, "Yeah, we're all broken bowls. But you're putting each other together with gold. That's how we all." And I always use the potter. We're all broken pots. I must put you together. You come here with your, say, go from this school af, this even hier. This grade 2 teacher, this grade 3 teacher, this grade 5 one that
And
klappen van gelegen.
There's a
Almost
good
screen.
example of using patience strategically. If you're leading anybody, if you're teaching anybody, you know, okay, this one he gets it, that one's going to take a bit longer, and that one's going to take maybe the next 6 months. So you know, okay, I need to be consistent with all of them, but the intensity is different because it's going to take longer there. It's going to take a bit longer here. This is medium term and this is short term. Now he's going to get it quick, then we can move on. So you use your patience strategically with each thing that you're trying to do, with everybody that you're involved with.
Yeah, I have a question. It's a bit of a random question. So have you heard of the 80-20 principle?
Yep.
Right, so I'm thinking like how do you tie that in to the law of consistency to make sure that what you're doing consistently is the things that's actually going to drive you towards.
Do you want to answer?
No.
So what is the biggest action that you can take that will make everything else happen? So if I get that thing right, everything else is going to happen. Just that thing will make everything else more realistic. 80.
Yes, yeah, that's brilliant. That's brilliant.
To 80% of the work that's
Yeah.
actually
80%
necessary.
of the results comes from 20% effort.
Yeah, because it's going to be one or two things that make that thing happen,
Yeah.
and those two things make all the
It's
others.
crazy because if in the context of exercising, right, the building of the muscle where the muscle is actually torn, it's not even, it's like literally 20% of your workout, sometimes
Yeah.
even it's 10. It's a very small part. It's usually when you're close to failure. That is actually where the magic happens, and it's mad.
Yeah, and they even have studies now that says whatever is the most stretched part of your muscle, if you just train that part and you stretch it well, you'll make up all the other gains. So it's knowing, again, the law of reflection lets you know, like you said now, where to hit. So it gives you that clarity on where to hit. And then consistency is what makes it happen.
That's nice.
And that's the where we're at now is value the process, which leads us to our next. You're going to have to put a run through. Do you know why you want to keep improving? Now this is going for the Simon Sinek. It all starts with why. I call my children Y1 and Y2. And I always tell people it's easy for me because I have children now. So I'm doing it for you.
Super focused.
Yeah.
Living, breathing reason.
Yeah, no, it's a bit easy for me. I would say. I have no excuse. But for if you don't have that why, it can become a bit difficult. It says knowing how to improve and what to improve, all those other things. You set the goals, you're eating your thing. So that's why I say for me the why is easy and motivation can wear off. A lot of energy can wear off. That's good. This podcast, we're keeping it going so that your energy don't wear off. And our energy also keeps on going. But do you know why you need to keep on improving? So not to stick too long there, to take you to the next one, do you know when? Because the why I'm going to leave to you.
Very personal.
Very personal. We don't want to go into that, otherwise clum tears in the podcast. It's not that one today. Not that one. So, very personal to you. Go for the why. Simon Sinek, beautiful book. Shout out. Hey, I'm going to start taking all of the talks. The whole day.
Must plug them.
Must plug this in. Plus, I love Simon Sinek. Also going to start a university spec.
That's good.
So, ladies and gentlemen, do you know when you're supposed to improve?
Exactly what he said.
And that,
Do you know when you're supposed to improve?
yes.
When, sir? Because there's only one answer.
Yeah, it's back to our old Lord and Savior. He said, whatever is possible today, you do today.
Do it now.
Whatever is possible. There's even somebody, I'm not sure who it was. It might have been Jocko Willing. But I have a canvas on my wall that says, discipline doesn't happen over time. Discipline is action that takes place today. So you don't have discipline. It starts right now. So you don't leave it for tomorrow or next week or try to build consistency. You only have today. So whatever you need to do now, you do now. That's discipline. Not, I need to do this Monday and Tuesday and no. I have today, this is what I need to do, let's do it, boom.
Focusing on today.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's also, if you want to tie it into biblical system, enough is the day's worries.
Yeah.
It was someone was worrying about the next. I think it might have been the Israelites. And then I just remember that suffices today's worries, basically saying just worry about today.
Why worry about extra stuff?
I worry about the next day. Go so for emoties.
You're already panicking
Yeah.
for the next 24 hours now already, no. But in any case, taking action will remove fear because you can't do both. You can't be scared and take action. Because you can be scared before, but while you're doing it, like if you actually measure people's heartbeat, when they are on the jumping, that bungee jumping platform, when they are on the platform, they are the most scared. But once they're doing it, they're not scared anymore. Now they're exhilarated, different feeling. So before you do something, you're going to experience the most fear. But while you're doing something, it's not possible to do both.
This is too much reflection. I don't watch the episodes over, but I definitely probably watch this one over. I watched the
I was thinking the same thing. Deep watching this one over. Because that's what liftoff where it comes from. Instead of fear, we say that the hardest thing is to start. It uses the most energy, or the rocket uses the most energy to leave the ground. I think the fear definitely ties into that.
Is the Vusi must just start?
Because it's that conflict.
Yeah.
If you keep doing what you're doing today, will you be ahead or behind in 3 months' time?
That's a very important question.
That's where we are. We chatted about the last 5 minutes. That's where we are. If you keep doing what you're doing for the next for today, will you be ahead or behind for the next 3 months? It's the constant pounding for me. And that's where someone I put in that extra hour.
Yeah.
just editing apart things or doing something and then up again. Because you don't have to, you get to.
Yeah, you get to.
Always
Literally notes
think
to
of
self.
it. Have notes to, you don't have to, bro. You don't have to get up, but you get to get up.
Yeah, and if we can put a ribbon on today's like sort of session,
Yep.
that law of reflection will give you those most important areas either for improvement, or if you do those things, everything gets better. And then if you can make yourself consistent, it's not about what's going to happen yesterday, today, all those things. I have now, this needs to be done, let's do it. And then once you start, once you put on your running shoes, it's more likely that you're going to go run. But if you sit there thinking for an hour, oh, the weather, this, that,
Make
put
it
on the
simple,
running
make
shoes.
it easy.
Take your pants off, put the shorts on, put the running shoes on. It's more likely that you'll head to the gym, that you'll go do the thing. Like, you know what I mean?
Well,
Skin in the game.
that's mad because even on that, not to go on a tangent, but the brain associates certain things with certain things.
There we go.
So the moment you put on that running gear, your brain is already associating
Je
with
gaat
it.
dus.
You got
Yeah,
to
there's no negotiation with yourself
Yeah.
now. We're in. Let's go.
burn the boat.
Burn the boat. Yeah.
On the boat, and once you're in, as Chad just tied up my mind so beautifully for the past couple of months, was the same water that hardens the egg is the same water that softens the potato. My brother Chad, thank you very much. So I know we're going to see Chad here now often. That's what's going to happen. The stable's going to get longer. If this look like the last supper year by the end of the year, sorry ladies and gentlemen, I told you,
Just need a wide camera.
we're going to bring you leadership on another level.
Sure.
We're going to bring leadership to the people. It's going to come how you want to hear it, from all angles, from the angles. This is going to be the first panel podcast in the world, looking like the last supper year. And we're just going to share. Like, hope you had a chance to reflect. Thank you, my brother, for pulling through all the way. Any last words for the brothers?
Again, the one that I always get back to, the quality of your life will be determined by the quality of the questions you ask.
Daniel, you want to take us out?
Of course. So we're touching on fear now, and the opposite of fear is obviously faith. So I'm just going to throw you guys a young quote from Cindy Trim. She says, faith bends reality in your favor towards a specific goal. So I'll just leave that.
I like that.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Lift of Leadership podcast. We're out of here.